Hi, Rav.
Shavua Tov. How's everyone?
How are you doing?
Baruch Hashem. Is everyone well?
No, I've got somebody that's desperately ill. David Ben Yehudit.
David Ben Yehudit. Okay,
Yehudit,
Be'ezrat Hashem, refuah shleima to him, and refuah shleima to everyone. Please God, refuah shleima to everyone.
They're looking for a what's the name? A liver.
Right. Be'ezrat Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will send them refuah shleima. David Ben Yehudit. Okay. Otherwise, how's everyone? I see Dr. Les with us. Dr. Les, give us the good news.
Shavua
Tov. How are you?
I was in Netanya and I met with Rabbi Raphael Ketz from Yeshiva College originally. And I'll tell you something amazing. I met, he's 91, Henry Hirsch, and he was one of he went with his mother. His father had already left. His father got advice from a German friend to leave. He became an SS officer and he told him you must leave Germany. And he left Germany on one of the last, possibly the last boats to get out of Europe before September the 1st. And they survived. And this Thursday night that just passed, Maccabi Tel Aviv played Bayern Munich in basketball and we won. We beat them. Is it not incredible? It's something. Who would believe? Who would have believed this?
No, Baruch Hashem, and I believe that we win in a rugby today. That's what I heard today. South Africa wins. So Baruch Hashem, there is winning. But I see Jeffrey with us. Jeffrey, Erev Tov. It's nice to see you. Anthony, Ivor. Thank you for joining us. Who else? Oh, Marky with us. Mark with us. Lulu with us. Gabriel. Hilton with us. Dr. Ewing Cobb. I see Karen with us. Orna with us. Oh, it's so nice to see you all. Sean, Brian. No, Baruch Hashem. Many people. No, Be'ezrat Hashem. I see Stephen with us also. Stephen Kabetsnik. Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. Okay. So, Mr. Schenker. Mr. Schenker.
Mr. Schenker.
On Thursday night to speak about astrology and Judaism. And I tell you what I decided to do. I'm going to mute everyone because there's a hell of a noise. And when there's noise, I cannot focus. So give me 1 second. I'm going to mute all. Mute all. Yes. Everyone now muted. So it's not going to disturb. So I'll tell you how I'm going to structure the show. It's going to take a bit of time. So the way that I structured the show, I structured it like this. First of all, going to explain the word astrology. Then what is it astrology? Just for people to understand, I'm sure that all of you know. And then we're going to give certain sample regarding astrology. After that, I'm going to move on to the 12 star sign. And also I'm going to continue what is the Jewish religion say about astrology. Bring different celestial sign and element, okay, regarding the zodiac sign and regarding the element sign. We'll explain later on. Then I'm going to bring what Hazal tell us in the Gemara. I'm going to bring a lot of the Gemara Masechet Shabbat, you'll see. Then we're going to speak about the character trait of a human being, that's how Hazal put it. And there is such thing that astrology work for the Jewish people, or it just what the Gentile tell us? Okay, that's the other subject. And then I'm going to summarize everything and go to the Pacific halacha that everyone going to ask. Be'ezrat Hashem. So Be'ezrat Hashem, na'aseh v'natzliach v'Hashem aleinu berachamav yarviach. I would like to delegate the shi'ur in health of Liora bat Miriam, Menashe Naji ben Farha, Orna Bluma bat Miriam, Harav Avraham ben Marima, Harav Shlomo Yehuda ben Dalia, Harav Moshe ben Devorah, Israel ben Zisa, Mordechai David ben Leah, Yosef ben Esther, Dvorah bat Esther, צדוק בן שרה, שמואל בן מיכל, שולמית בת חיה שינה, לאה, איתן בן הדסה, דוד יצחק בן חווה, לאה יהודית. And David ben Yehudit, please God, refuah shleima to all of them. Also, I would like to honor the show in honor of Esther Kaden Bat Ketzia, in memory of Esther Kaden Bat Ketzia, Mordechai ben Rahma, Rav Avraham Chaim ben Eliezer Yaakov, Tamar Bat Zehava, Rachet ben Malka Sultana, Yaakov Salomon ben Farha, Dvorah Ruth Bat Beila Vechaim Eliyahu ben Ishayahu. Please God, that the show will uplift their soul and send refuah shlema lekol cholei uptzu'ei amo bet Israel. Astrology, the word astrologia, that means astrology. What does it mean? So the Latin explanation for the word astrology, if we take the word astrology and we divide it to two, it means astro. Astro, it means a star. Logos, it means the theology of the star. That means if we take the word astrology, it's to tell us that the meaning is the theology of the star. Astrology also being called in the Talmudic name and the biblical name, it's tagnenut. It's tagnenut, it means the star sign. That's how it's mentioned in a Gemara. Wherever you see it, that it's mentioned, it's tagnenut, referring also Rashi uses it, that it means the star sign. The first time that it's ever mentioned astrology in Jewish religion, it's the book that's been written by Avraham Avinu, Sefer Yetzirah. As I mentioned the book of Sefer Yetzirah before, Sefer Yetzirah is a book that been written by Avraham Avinu. It's a mystical book, Sefer Kabbalah, a very deep Sefer Kabbalah, about how Kadosh Baruch Hu created the world. And there Avraham Avinu bringing already that there is astrology in the world. That means there is the star sign in the world. What is astrology? What is astrology? As a matter of fact, astrology, it's a research, okay, that people learn regarding the star sign. That means the formation of the stars in a space, okay? Now, I have to explain one thing, that not many people may be aware of it, that the star sign is not only a month or a week, it's also a day and an hour. There is a star sign. There is a star sign to a month, to a week, to a day, to an hour, okay? From here we learn that it can change the luck of a person even by hour. In ancient time, and we bring sample, many people used to run their life according to astrology. That means that Hazal tell us hayu mistaklim ba'itstagnenut. Okay, they used to look at a star sign, they used to be astrologers, but really astrologers, not like today. We'll speak about it later on, that you'll see that today it's all bubamaisis. All of that horoscope and the nonsense that they're writing, it's all bubamaisis. Okay, that in the olden days was really people that was understand it, and we'll bring certain Gemarot and we'll explain that. And Hazal tell us certain nation that used to make a decision for themselves, and leaders, not only for themselves, they used to make a decision for the entire country, because they was the leader of the country, and everything used to run according to the star sign. I'm going to bring two examples. Hazal tell us that, and Rashi bringing it in Sefer Shmot. Chazal tell us that Pharaoh decide, Chazal tell us that Pharaoh decide to drain every male born that will be born, he will be drowned in a river. That means in the Nile River. Chazal tell us, and Rashi explained it, Kol ben hayilod hayeora tashlichu. Every male that will be born, you must throw him to the Nile. And it makes no difference if he's Egyptian or Jewish. That's Rashi HaKadosh explained it. And Rashi come and tell us what happened there. Rashi tell us that the advisors of Pharaoh, will explain who was that advisor. The advisor of Pharaoh told him that the savior of the Jewish people is already born. Who was the savior? They're referring, they didn't know who was it. It was Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses. And Moshe Rabbeinu born, and he gonna save the Jewish people, and he gonna redeem them, and they're gonna get out of Egypt. When Pharaoh heard that, because Pharaoh himself was a great sorcerer, a great witchcrafter, he got the advice of Bilam. Who was Bilam? First of all, that's the Bilam that we're talking, that he told Balak, Melech Moab, okay, to send the woman that the Jewish people will sin with them in immorality, the wicked Bilam. But we have to understand what's happening. Chazal explained to us that Bilam, that was so wicked, because Pharaoh, first of all, have three advisors, and there was Bilam, Jitro, and Job. That means Yitro, Bilam, and Iyov. And those three advisors, when they hear what's going to happen, they have no problem to keep quiet. Sorry, two of them. One of them didn't want to keep quiet. What does he decide to do? Bilam told Pharaoh that every male that's going to be born, drown him in the Nile River. And we saw that Paro accepted it, and it makes no difference if it was a Jewish or not. Why? Because they saw in astrology, in a power of the astrology, that they can see, okay, that the survivor of the Jewish people gonna be born. And they told Pharaoh, in that case, drown him. And Pharaoh listened to Bilam. So that's one of the examples that in the ancient days, people that used to run a country, people that have a lot of strength, what did they done? They actually make the decision of themselves and the country according to the star sign. Another example that I'm going to bring again about Paro. What happened with Paro? After Moshe already born and Moshe escaped from the house of Pharaoh, in the age of 80, Moshe Rabbeinu returned back to Egypt by the command of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And he said to Pharaoh that he must release the Jewish people because the Almighty wants them to go to the wilderness to bring their sacrifice. Okay? Pharaoh heard that. And from here we know, it's a proof, here the Midrash shows us, that Pharaoh wasn't a stupid person. What did he say to Paro in Sefer Shemot? Listen what he said. He said, look, Kira'a neged penechem, look, there is a bad degree against you. Rashi HaKadosh explained there, and Chazal explained, that Pharaoh already saw, according to the star sign, that will be a lot of blood in the wilderness. And he said to Moshe Rabbeinu, why do you want to go to the wilderness? I see in a starlight that it's not good for you to go to the wilderness. I see a lot of blood. But from here, we can see that they cannot actually make a perfect understanding what does it mean. He was right that will be a big blood and a lot of blood, really a lot of blood, and we'll explain now. We know that generation of the wilderness never got circumcised, except those that eaten the Korban Pesach when they left Egypt. That was the last generation that have a Brit Milah until before the enter Eretz Israel. What happened? Before the enter Eretz Israel, HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Yeshua bin Nun that he's obligated to do Brit Milah to all of those Jewish people before the entering Eretz Israel. Okay? Because while they was in a wilderness for 40 years, Hazal explained that they cannot have a circumcision. They cannot have Brit Milah. Why? Hazal explained because they was in a wilderness and because they might go and get infected, HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't want them, okay, to have a Brit Milah. It was difficult to receive a medical attention. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't want to make. Therefore, what Hazal call it Ruach Ma'aravit, okay? Hazal say, what happened? That before the enter Eretz Israel, Yoshua bin Nun was obligated to do in a Gilgal, okay? To do for them Brit Milah, to all of that generation. And because of that, was a lot of blood. And that's what Paro saw. Paro saw blood. He was thinking, Has v'shalom, that is a bad decree on the Jewish people. He didn't realize that it will be a blood of a Brit Milah. So from here we see that many nations, as we explained, in an olden time, in an ancient time, what did they used to do? They used to make a decision according to the star luck, according to the star sign in heaven. Okay, now I'm going to move on and to explain what's happening. There is a 12 star sign, and they actually divided to 4 elements. That means that the zodiac sign divided for 4 elements. There is earth, fire, air, and water. And each one of the zodiac sign fitting to each one of those 4 elements. For example, the element of earth. The element of earth have the star sign for Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Fire have the Leo, the Aries, and the Sagittarius. The element of air have the Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra. The water have the Scorpion, Cancer, and Pisces. That means Hazal already tell us what we know today, that the 12 star, the 12 zodiac sign, they actually divided to the 12th element of earth. Okay, so now we understand all of it. Let's look what the Jewish religion say about it. So the Jewish religion, first of all, agree that the star sign exists and there is no dispute about it. But the star sign, that if you want to rely on it or not, the Jewish religion say that it's limited. That means that you cannot tell exactly what's going to happen in the world because there is no power that can tell, listen to that, exactly what's going to happen in the world. And Hazal, now I'm jumping to Hazal in a Gemara Masechet Shabbat. Masechet Shabbat in page 156, folio 1. If you want to learn about astrology, look there. Hazal explaining everything. And today I'm going to quote most of that page, if not all of that page. And Hazal in the Gemara Masechet Shabbat, 156, folio 1. Listen what it says. Hazal explained that all what we learn now and all what we explained, the 12 star sign that there is, and the 4 elements
Rav, you muted. You muted, Rav.
Rav, we can't hear you.
So, can you hear me now?
Yes, but we've missed a whole lot.
Sorry. So I'll repeat. Hazal tell us something very interesting. Maybe I press a button by mistake. Hazal tell us in the Gemara Masechet Shabbat, I repeat, 156 folio 1, that nachon, that there is the 12 star sign. That means the 12 zodiac sign. There is the 4 elements that they divide to. But beside that, that there is a monthly star luck, there is also a day luck. And Hazal explained what does it mean. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levy said in a Gemara Masechet Shabbat 156 folio 1 that there is what we call a day luck. A person that born in a certain day, he have a certain luck. And listen what he said. He said like this: Hanolad beyom rishon, a person that's born on Sunday, okay? Yihye lerosh, he will be a leader. That means he can be a tzaddik or he can be a rasha. So we see from here already that the Torah tells us that there is the freedom of choice. Rabotai. Hazal continue that because he born on a Sunday and it's the first day of the week, he doesn't have the middle of the road. He can be or a tzaddik or he can be a rasha. He will never be in between. He always have to be a leader. So you have to be the leader of a tzaddik, that means a religion. He can be a good guy. He will teach Torah. Or Haz v'Shalom, he can be a rasha. Do wicked thing. The Gemara continue and Rabbi Yeshua tell us, Hanolad beyom bet, person that born on Monday, Yeh Adam Ragzan, he will be a person that gets short-tempered, get cross very quickly. And the reason for it, Hazal explained in the Gemara, because on a Monday, the mahloket being created. What it means, the mahloket? As we all read on Shabbat, that on the second day of the creation, HaKadosh Baruch Hu separate the water, okay? Separate the upper water and the lower water, okay? Therefore, again, a person can be anxious and can be a very, very temperamental, or again, because he can take the other side and he can work on his character trait. Okay? But you have to understand, why is he getting cross? Okay? Because Hazal explained it, he speaks Lashon Hara. The Mefarshim explained that he gets cross because there is a lot of Lashon Hara. It's steps, I don't want to get to it. But on the pshat of the dvarim, because the mahloket of Monday, and he took Lashon Hara. Hazal continues and say, a person that's born on a Tuesday, what is his star sign? What is the character trait that you can expect from that person? Hazal say, Yeh Ashir, he will be a rich man. But again, to be a rich man, Hazal explained, he can do good deeds with his money, or Haz v'Shalom, he can do bad thing with his money. Hazal say, what is good thing? Gmah, Gmilut Hasadim. He will help charity, he will give money to charity, that those that need. But from the other way, he can use his money for bad thing. He can be gambled, he can support other institute that not so good, and etc. Hazal continues, say a person that's born on a Wednesday, what is his character trait going to be? He will be a smart man. Listen to that, smart man. Again, that he's smart, it doesn't mean that he's going to use his wisdom to good thing. He can use his chokhmah, okay, to do evil thing. So Hazal tell us that means vice versa. He can be a very scholar person in Yiddishkeit. He's going to be a person that have a lot of wisdom, a lot of chokhmah. But if you use it, has v'shalom, for the wrong thing, how to steal, how to rob, and etc., you have the freedom of choice. From the other way, he can use it to teach people to do good things. Not only that, if he's a Talmid Chacham, he will teach other people. Hadal continue and say that the person that born on a Thursday, ohev la'asod gmah. What it means, ohev la'asod gmah? Ohev la'asod gmilut hasadim. That he loves to do kindness with other people. And Rashi HaKadosh explained that the main reason for it, there Rashi explained, and in Gemara, because on that day that the fish and the birds born on that day, okay, and because they receive their food easily, that the food, it always, for the fish, is always been fine, and you see that the birds always get free food. Because of that, that person will love to do gmilut hasadim. A person that born on a Friday, listen to what Hazal said, yeh hazran. Hazran, it's not what many people in Hebrew understand. Yeh hazran b'mitzvot. What does it mean? That the person loves to do mitzvot. A person that born on that day loves to do mitzvot. Not only that, because he born on a Friday, that it's close to Shabbos. Sorry, Hazal explained that he will be preparing himself for Shabbos earlier. That means he will accept Shabbos much earlier than anyone else. The last day, that's Shabbat, the person that born on a Shabbos, Hazal explained there that there's a good chance that first of all he will die on a Shabbos. Okay, why? Because they done Hilul Shabbat on him, that he born on a Shabbos, and they have to desecrate the Shabbos to deliver him. Okay, so there's a good chance that he will die on a Shabbos. Not only that, because he born on a Shabbos, it's considered like he's holy. Okay, and he will have a help from heaven that he will be a tzaddik. Again, there's not necessary that he will be a tzaddik, but there is a help from heaven that he can be a tzaddik. It all depends on him. Then Hazal tell us that there is another one. There is what we call the 7 celestial bodies influence the hourly, every hour. And there are, number 1, the sun, that called Hama, Noga, that it's Venus, Kochav, that it's Mercury, Levana, that's the moon, Shabtai, that's Saturn, okay? And then Tzedek, that it's Jupiter, and Ma'adim, that it's Mars. And now we're going to explain them. Hazal in the Gemara, in page 156, folio 2. Here Hazal tell us that the matter of fact that we have 7 celestial, okay, bodies that can influence a person every hourly. Depends if we born in that hour, okay? That means a person that born a celestial of a sun, Hazal in the Gemara tell us that the person that born in a time that the sun, celestial, okay, inflict on it, he actually work and he use everything from his own money. That means that he not rely on anyone else. Everything that he have, because he work hard, okay? And he, not only that, he doesn't like people giving him present. And not only that, he doesn't benefit from other people. That means in his nature, okay, he loves to work hard, he loves to provide to himself, and he doesn't want anyone else to provide for him. But, Hazal said that he cannot keep a secret, but his face always smiling. He have a light face. And Hazal continue and tell us there, listen to that if that person tried to be a crook, he will never succeed. Sorry, I needed to wet my throat. Hazal tell us that the person like this, that born in the celestial of the sun, can never succeed to steal. That if he try to steal, he's going to be caught. Hazal continue and tell us, a person that born in the hourly of Venus, okay, that's this, the celestial of Venus, the body of Venus, okay, there's something very interesting. Number one, he will be rich, but he have to be very, very careful. That he will be rich is a good thing, but you have to be careful, because usually people, when they become rich, they also become very arrogant because they have too much self-confidence. So Hazal said, those that born in a celestial of Venus, that's called Noga in Hebrew, okay, have to be very careful. Although that they will have a lot of money, that money could lead them to arrogancy and proud. Why? Because they have so much of a self-confidence of themselves, Haz v'shalom, that can lead them to arrogancy and proud. Hazal tell us also that a person that born in Levana, what is Levana is the moon, in a celestial of the moon. Hazal tell us whoever born in it will have lo alenu a lot of chorus, okay? And he loves to benefit from other people. And as a matter of fact, he has to benefit from other people, Hazal explained. And Hazal tell us that even if he will make money, lo alenu, he will lose it all. And Hazal explained why is it? The same like the Levana. The Levana is the moon, okay? That complain to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that cannot be two king in one crown, because in a creation, at the beginning of the creation, the strength of the sun and the strength of the Levana was the same. But the Levana, the moon, complained to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and she said, cannot be two king with one crown. Then HaKadosh Baruch Hu tell her, you know what, in that case, you're gonna limit yourself and limit your light. And Hazal say that the person that born in that celestial, that called the moon, lo alenu, will have a lot of chorus, can never make money, and all the time he'll have to receive help from other people. The third one that we have is, the fourth one that we have is Mercury. Mercury, that's called Kochav, Hazal tell us, he will be a rich man. Not a lot of explanation. Pashut, Ashir. Ashir, Kochav, it's called Mercury, he will be rich. Okay? The third one is Shabtai, Satan. A person that born in a celestial of Satan, that it's called Shabtai. If you take the word Shabtai in Hebrew, it's Milshon Shvita. What it means, Shvita? A strike. And Hazal explains something about that person. A person that born in a celestial of Satan, even if people will plan and have a lot of thinking badly about him, they will never succeed to harm him. But from the other way, if he'll think badly about other people and plan bad things about other people, also nothing gonna happen. So that's mean, Hazal tell us here that a person that born in the celestial of Saturn, no harm can happen to him if people plan on him. The sixth one is Tzedek. Tzedek is Jupiter. Hazal in the Gemara tell us that the person that born in the celestial of Jupiter will love to do tzedakot. What it means tzedakot? He loves to do a lot of merit, a lot of human kindness, mankindness. Not only that, he will be a tzaddik and he will do a lot of mitzvot. That's called tzedek, that Jupiter. The third celestial, the seventh celestial, and that's the last one, is Mars. In Hebrew, it's called Mazal Ma'adim. And listen to that, what Hazal tell us in a Gemara. A person that born in that celestial or starlight, whatever that you want to call it, Ma'adin or Mars, that person love blood. In his nature, he love blood. So again, there is the option. He can be a robber. He can be a killer. Or from the other way, he can be a mower. He can be a shohet. He can do mitzvot. He can be a doctor, a surgeon. Although that he love blood, but if he take that character trait and he use it on a right way, Hazal explain that he can change everything. So what are we learning from here? We're learning about also the character of a human being. For example, we say that the person that's born on a celestial of Venus, okay, he will be rich, but you have to be careful not to be arrogant. Or a person that's born in a celestial of Mars, that he loves blood, but he can navigate his character trait, okay, not to do bad thing. He can do good thing with it. By that he become a doctor, he become a shohet, he can do mitzvah. By that become a surgeon. By that he become a moel. So he'll do mitzvot with that. And that he'll have blood. But if he doesn't work on his character trait, Chas v'shalom, he can do bad thing about it. He can be a murderer, he can be a killer. So that's what Hazal tell us. Now let's speak about the luck. So what we learned so far, that we can learn from here, that according to astrology, the luck of a human being, actually, we can see that it's been designed before, been decided before. Let's put it this way. That's true according to the modern scientists. And according to Professor Helmut. Professor Helmut, I don't know how many of you know, he created in 1996 the sheep Dolly, you know, by the DNA, okay? He was a special professor that he used the gene of a human being and he used the sheep of the gene of a sheep to create the sheep that called Dolly. I don't know how many of you know why they call it Dolly. They call it Dolly on a singer that's called Dolly Parton. And that's the reason. There's a reason why they call it Dolly Parton, but it's not for now. Okay. What does the Jewish religion say about all of that? That's according to modern science, that they say that if you look at the astrology, the star sign, everything has already been decided for you. The Gemara in Masechet Nida. Now I'm changing. Gemara Masechet Nida, page 16. Okay, there Hazal tell us, Hakol bidei shamayim, chutz miyirat shamayim. Hazal there tell us that everything is in the hand of heaven, except the fear of heaven. What is Hazal try to tell us? Hazal in the Gemara tell us already 2,500 years ago, that the star luck of a person, the luck of a person, it's a matter of fact, it's not depends on himself. Everything be the shamayim. Everything is in the hand of heaven, except the fear of heaven. And Rabbi Yohanan he wrote the Talmud Yerushalmi, okay? And he said, Masechet Shabbat, En Mazal Yisrael, in page 156, folio 1. En Mazal Yisrael, what it means, En Mazal Yisrael? Not that the Jewish people, Chas v'shalom, doesn't have a luck. He come to explain, and Rashi there explained that the Jewish people are above the star, not like the rest of the nation. And we have to understand what's happening there. I'm going to bring a story that Chazal tell us in the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat, in page 156, folio 1. I told you that most of that page we're actually going to do today, because that page mainly speak about astrology. And there is a story about Shmuel and Avlat. Avlat was a gentle astrologist that he really knew about the star in the heaven, the star like in the heaven. And they were sitting and talking, and suddenly a group of men was walking. And Avlat said to Shmuel, Avlat was the gentle astrologist. Again, I explain. He said to Shmuel, you see that man that walking on the side? That man will never come back. He will be dead. Shmuel looked at that man and he said to Avlat, if he's a Jewish person, no harm will happen to him. That's how the conversation ends. And at the end of the day, when that group of people finish their work, they come back, they pass again where Shmuel and Avlat was sitting. And Avlat saw that that man that he pointed, he's there. He couldn't understand. And he said to Shmuel, according to the star sign, I saw in a star sign that this man will die today. Shmuel said to him, I told you, if he's a Jewish person, he will never die. Okay? Shmuel said to him, I will prove it to you that the Jewish people are above the star. So they go on to that man and they start talking to him. And Shmuel said to him, tell me, what did you done today? He said, we're going to work. Our job is to cut the cane by the river. Okay. Shmuel said to him, did you done a special mitzvah today? That man wanted to talk, didn't want to talk. Shmuel said to him, tell me. So that man said, look, we're a group of men that we always work. And we have a custom that every day for lunch, every person, we have a big plate and everyone put what he brought from home and we're all sharing our food. And my job was today to take the plate and to walk around everyone to put all the food on a plate. And I saw that one of the men didn't brought food for whatever reason, and I didn't want to embarrass him. So what did I done? I took my own food and I pretended that he put it himself. So say Shmuel to Avlat, you see, I told you that if that Jewish person, if he's Jewish, he's above the starlight. What does it mean? By that he done a mitzvah, he changed the decree, Hazal said there. And the Ramchal, it's Rabbi Moshe Chaim Luzzatto. Rabbi Moshe Chaim Luzzatto, the Ramchal, born in a city of Padova. Padova is the north of Italy. He born 314 years ago. And he said like this. He said, you know why Shmuel in the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat say that if he's Jewish, that Jewish person have a better chance, okay, to come alive? Why? Explain the Ramchal. Listen how the Ramchal explained it. The Ramchal say, you know why a Jewish person have a better chance to survive if there is a decree on him? Because the Jewish people have 613 mitzvot. That means Taryag mitzvot. While the Gentile have 7 law of Noah, 7 mitzvot. That means if you take them, you take the 7 law of Noah, minus the 600, because the Jewish people also obligated for those 7, left 606. That means that the Jewish people have extra 616 mitzvot, that if they do them, any one of those mitzvah, they can change the decree completely. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu will accept that as a atonement. Said the Ramchal, therefore you can understand why we say what it says in a Mishnah in Masechet Avot. Rabbi Hananiah ben Akashia Omer, Okay, Rabbi Hananiah ben Akashia used to say, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות את ישראל. The Almighty wanted to merit the Jewish people. Okay? לפיכך, therefore, הרבה להם, he given them Torah ומצוות. He given them a lot of mitzvot, much more mitzvot that he given the Gentile, and he given them the merit of studying Torah. So from here we learn something very interesting. We learn why a Jewish person, if there is even the astrologers and the star sign and the star luck show that Has v'Shalom decree on him, he can change it. So now I would like to summarize what we learned today about the zodiac sign, astrology, how the Jewish religion accepted. According to the Jewish tradition, we have a star luck. Everyone agree with that? And we say that the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat speak about it. The first source comes from Avraham Avinu, okay? Then we're going to quote now that Yirmiyahu, the prophet Yirmiyahu, in chapter 10, verse 6, said to the Jewish people, Umeotot hashemayim al tichatu. That means of the star luck of the heaven, you have nothing to be afraid. Agoim yichatu. The Gentile must be afraid. Okay? That means that in the Jewish religion, we accept. There is astrology, there is the star sign, there is the star luck, there is the zodiac sign, there is the 4 elements that the zodiac sign fit into it. We agree that there is a lack of a month, a lack of a day, and a lack of an hour. We don't dispute that. Everything is there. And to prove it, Rashi HaKadosh is Rabbi Shlomo Yitzhaki. Rabbi Shlomo Yitzhaki born in a city of Troa. Troa is in the north of France, and Rashi born 981 years ago. In Sefer Bereshit on Parashat Lech Lecha, that Be'ezrat Hashem will read, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Avraham Avinu, there in the Torah it says, Vayotze oto ahutza. That means HaKadosh Baruch Hu took Avraham Avinu out. And Rashi HaKadosh explained, why do you have to take Avraham Avinu out of the tent? From the tent, Avraham Avinu can see the star, because there, and he said to Avraham Avinu, look at the star, that's how your nation going to be, that's how your children going to be. Say Rashi HaKadosh, from that it said, HaKadosh Baruch Hu actually take Avraham Avinu and Sarah Imenu and took them out of the star luck. What was the star luck? That they was barren, that they cannot bring children to the world. He took them out from that star luck, okay? And he changed the star luck for them. And then they have a child that called Yitzhak Avinu. So say Hazal in the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat, in page 156, folio 1, and also in the Gemara in Masechet Nedarim in page 32, folio 1. 32 is Lev, heart, okay? Hazal said there, En Mazal Israel. The Jewish people doesn't have a luck. The Jewish people, a matter of fact, above the luck. What it mean above the luck? Not only that they're above the luck, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, if they will daven to him, if they will pledge to him and beg him, he can change the decree on him. That's me. From here, we can learn something very important. That the Jewish person can change his luck. And here you're going to hear something very interesting. Why is the Jewish people say Mazal Tov? Mazal Tov. Mazal, it means luck, and Tov. That means when a person meet one each other, they say to each other and they say, Mazal Tov. That means Mazal Tov, that you're above the star luck. And that's why we say Mazal Tov. That means when we wishing our friend Mazal Tov, That means that we're telling him that you're above the star. So we learn from here that the Jewish people doesn't have to worry about astrology, about all of the star sign. We mustn't worry about it. That's not for us. We don't have to worry. According to the prophet Yeshayahu, the Gentiles have a problem with that because they don't have enough mitzvot. Now, for a question that many people ask, is all of this, what we're talking about, is it Avodah Zarah? Is the star sign, the horoscope, all of that, is that Avodah Zarah, idol worshipping? So many of the poskim explain today, and that will help to understand what I said at the beginning of the show, that many of those that claim and write the horoscope, many of those that claim and say that they understand about the star sign, Hazal tell us, and many of the poskim today say, that 99.999 don't know what they're talking about. Many of them, when they write the horoscope, they leave it in a question mark that you will think that maybe it's reflecting to you. But as a matter of fact, they don't even know what they're talking about. Because this kind of chokhmah, of wisdom, that called astrology, that was known to our sages, as a matter of fact, today, there's not many people, if there's one or two, that you can count them on one hand. That's the Kabbalistic, the mystical rabbi that can explain to you properly regarding astrology, there's very few. In the olden days, Shmuel say in a Gemara, Nirhim li shvile derki'ah keshvile nehar da'a. I will explain. Shmuel say in a Gemara, I know all the roads, all the way, everything, wherever star like there is in the heaven, it's like the same street that I come from. That means the same suburb that I live, and all the streets in my suburb I know. That's how I know what's happening in the heaven. That's Shmuel. But today, who know that? Who know the secret of the star? Nachon, the Rambam was astrologist, but the Rambam lived close to 900 years ago. Well, Nachon, that Rashi know, but 900 years ago. If there is today people that know the secret of the wisdom of astrology, when I say astrology, proper astrology, not what they learn in the university, that can explain the hour, the time, the day, the star, like when they look at the star in the heaven, if there is one or two, we're lucky. So Hazal said from here, because no one knows, it doesn't consider Avodah Zarah. Now, for the third question that we have to ask ourselves, is reading a horoscope, okay, is it allowed? Is a person that read the horoscope is allowed? So first of all, from what we say, we learn that what they're talking, they don't know what they're talking about. That's that they tell you that something gonna happen to you. They leave you, everything gonna happen. They don't tell you good, bad, and what day, and what hour. No, garnish. They tell you that something gonna happen. But let's see what the Rambam said. The Rambam is the great eagle, Rabbi Moshe ben Maimon, that's born in the city of Cordova. He born in Spain 886 years ago. And in his law, Avodat Kochavim, the chapter that speak about idol worshipping, okay? In chapter 11, Halacha Het and Tet, that means law number 8 and 9, he said like this. He pasken, Shekol Inyana horoscope, that all the idea of the horoscope that people write and tell you the whatever, yesh lo din onen, he consider it that it have a negative command that call observing time from the Torah. Therefore, a person cannot decide for himself what he's going to do according to the horoscope. That means that if a person want to decide to read the horoscope, and according to that, to make a decision that consider ma'onen. What it means ma'onen? Observing time. Maybe I'm wrong by the translation, but that's what it's looked to me like ma'onen. So from here, we have to understand that every Jew have to understand that we are above the star luck, above the star sign that there is. Okay? By that the person daven and he doing tshuva and he pledge to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and beg to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Chas v'shalom, if there is a bad decree on him, he can change completely the star sign. Completely the star sign. In Hazal, in the Gemara, in Yerushalmi, in Masechet Rosh Hashanah, listen to that. Hazal tell us that the person on a day of his birthday, the Hebrew birthday, okay, his luck is on the top. And bringing it also the Ben Ish Hai, Rabbi Yosef Haim. Rabbi Yosef Haim born in Baghdad 186 years ago. In his book, the Ben Ish Hai, he said that in his house, listen to that, that people, when it was their Hebrew birthday, they used to make a bit of a party, okay? Because the star sign of that person on that day, the star luck is very strong. And whatever he'll do, he'll succeed. A matter of fact, Hazal and Gemara and Masechet Rosh Hashanah in Yerushalmi tell us that star luck stay for all of his months, but especially on a birthday, on a Jewish birthday. So from here, if we summarize, we learn something very important. There is astrology. The Jewish religion accepted that there is, and the Jewish religion tell you that there is. And it's one of the wisdom that the sages knew about, okay? But Hazal tell us that the Jewish person must never rely on a star sign, must never make a decision according to the star sign. Why? Because we are above the star luck. And Be'ezrat Hashem, that we should all merit that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will put us and write us on a book of life, and good decrees, and send us Mashiach Tzidkenu speedily in our days, and we see the building of Bet HaMikdash, and then we don't need to use all of those star luck, and star signs, and astrology, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, please God, will send us Brocha and Atzlacha, Amen, Ken Yehi Ratzon. Now it's time for question. If anyone have any question regarding that matter, I know that was a heavy shiur, very in depth, but please, if you have a shiur, if you have question, please ask.
Hello, it's Anthony. How are you?
Shalom Aleichem, Antonio. How are you?
All right, thanks. Everything is in the hands of heaven except fear of heaven. Can you explain that a bit better?
Yeah. Everything is in the hand of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That means HaKadosh Baruch Hu giving you the freedom of choice to do everything, except one thing, the fear of heaven. If you want to become a tzaddik or you want to become a rasha, it's up to you. That means when a person want to do mitzvot or a person want to do bad thing.
Otherwise, everything's in the hands of heaven.
Everything is in the hand of heaven, except if you want to become a tzaddik or a rasha. You want to do mitzvot?
Thanks very much.
Or you want to do sin? That's what does it mean.
Thanks very much.
Pleasure.
Yes.
Jeffrey, wanted to ask something? Bechavod?
Hi, Rabbi. It's Eitan. How are you?
Eitan, shalom aleichem, refuah shleima.
I don't know if I was a bit late for the shiur. I don't know if you did the refuah for the other person.
I did.
Yeah, thank you. I was a bit late for the shiur. Sorry, thanks.
I did. David Yitzhak ben Havalea Yehudit. Yes.
Thank you. Amen. So I just, it reminds me of the time of Esther Malka, you know, when the day she got married, that she was destined to die. And then the guy came to ask for food, and instead of being a very busy day for her, which most married women say, listen, getting married, goodbye, you know, you're just a poor person. She went and got food for him. And then that night, then she put the pin from her hair and stuck it in the bedside and then killed the snake. And apparently she was destined to die that day because she did the mitzvah of feeding that guy. She had saved her life. Nachon, is that a similar thing what the Rabbi is saying?
It wasn't Esther. Nachon, you're right about the story, but it wasn't Esther Amalka. It was the daughter of Rabbi Akiva. The Gemara in Masechet Shabbat, there tells us, וצדקה תציל ממוות. ויצא רבי עקיבא ואמר, וצדקה תציל ממוות. The story was with the daughter of Rabbi Akiva on the night of her wedding, that she saw a poor person by the door and he didn't have a meal. And instead of enjoying her meal, she said to him, come in, here, you don't have a meal, you don't have to be upset, take my meal. And the father Rabbi Akiva saw Ra'a b'kochavim. Hazal explained in the Gemara that his daughter supposed to down a day or on the night of the wedding. That's what you're referring. And in the night when she came home, she took, and all day they used to have a long stick. And the house wasn't plastered, it was stone. And a snake, a poison snake, a venom snake, was between those stones. And they didn't have shelves, they didn't have cupboard. So she put that long stick that she used to tie her hair, and she puts it in the eyes of a snake. And in the morning when he knocked on the door, that he wanted to see what's happened with his daughter, so immediately she ran, because now she's married, she has to cover her hair. When she pulled the snake, when she pulled the stick, she pulled the snake with it, and she screamed. And Rabbi Akiva was worried. And he said to her, Biti, are you right? My daughter, are you okay? And she said to him, 1 minute. And he calmed down. And he said to her, what's happened? Tell me the story. What did you done last night? And she told him the story about that. But it was the daughter of Rabbi Akiva. You're 100% right.
I actually always thought it, so I got that right. Thank you for clarifying. But I think I always try to live by that story. But what is difficult for me is that, you know, sometimes you worried about, you see a mitzvah and you think, is this the mitzvah that's going to save me? Is this the mitzvah that's going to help me? You know, kind of, you can go, a bit crazy about it because you don't want to give up mitzvot because you know that it's good for you. But if she didn't do that specific mitzvah, then she would have been dead, but how do we know? It's kind of like a very difficult heaviness.
So here Hazal tell us that the person that do tzedakot, chesed, gemilut chesed, okay, that's the best protection. That's the iron dome to protect him from everything. In Israel they have the iron dome.
Yes.
So you want the iron dome to protect you? Tzedakot, gemilut hasadim.
So then, okay, so every time you give an opportunity to do a mitzvah, you
must do it. Do it.
No, but sometimes
of tzedakah, run to do it. Not only do it, run to do it.
So the Gemut Chassidim is helping, like she helped. The tzedakah is giving tzedakah, and then you got obviously the Torah learning, which is keneged kulam oma.
Talmud Torah keneged kulam, but women not obligated to learn Torah. So what she done? She done gmilut chesed. What is the gmilut chesed? That she given her meal. She done tzedakah, and that tzedakah merit for her and protected her. Changed the star luck. You follow?
Yes, correct. Thank you. Well, that looks like a good cup of tea, Rabbi. That looks like a very good cup of tea.
A good cup of tea, yeah.
When I see that the leaves inside there,
that's mint. That's mint. That's a grow mint. Grow mint. Yeah. If you want some, I'll bring you some. Jeffrey, you wanted to ask something, Jeffrey?
Well, I wanted to share something with you, Rabbi, and share with everybody, if you don't mind. You quite rightly gave a most brilliant synopsis of what the stars are all about. basically, I'm speaking because my wife's been an astrologer for 40 years. And yes.
I hope that she didn't listen.
She's no, she's not listening. She told me I must listen. She gave me instructions. Basically, Rabbi, everything is in the hands of Hashem. When she started learning, she went to see a rabbi, a very, very prominent rabbi, and he said, there is nothing wrong learning about the stars. But there's something wrong you can't predict. There's no such thing you cannot predict. That's why horoscopes are nonsense. You cannot predict anything. Everything is in the hands of Hashem.
That's
But what it does, there are 365,000 types of a sign. If you take the hours and the months and the different energies that are coming onto you at that moment of birth, that is why in an hour later you have triplets, and the first two are born, the next, and they're totally different. They should actually all be the same. And everything should appear, but it's not that way. The celestial world is beyond anything. It's energy is going round and round, which Hashem has put into motion. And it gives you what is called a potential. Now, if you go for a job and you've learned something at school or what have you, what do? You go and you go to an expert to say, are you suited for this? Are you good enough for this? Well, it's the same thing with the stars. You're giving a potential. You've got a potential to become rich, a potential to work hard, you have a potential for kindness. These are potentials, but it doesn't mean you'll ever achieve it. It's because it depends on so many other factors. It's your peer group, it's your family, it's your history, it's your religion, it's all the things that are around you that make you the person who you are. So that's why, as you quite rightly said, it's a lot of nonsense when you talk about an individual horoscope. It's totally offbeat. It's nothing even to waste your time on, as our sages tell us. So basically, it should be beholden for people to find out what is their natural tendency. Find out. See, where were you born? What time were you born? You can know the exact time. It's not even. It's better. It's closer even than the hour. It's almost the minute of your birth. Within the 2-3 minutes, the whole universe changes. Another star comes in, another one goes out, and they all have an energy which comes onto you and which affects you, who you are. So this is the beauty about astrology. Our Meforshim knew it. Our sages knew it. They knew what the potential was. And if you work with your potential, you'll become successful in what you're good at. That's what I answered.
Absolutely. One more thing I want to add up that maybe I didn't mention in the show, that, like you said, that the person that's born, if there is a 1 minute difference, it can change the star.
Yes.
Why? Because if it's a night, it's between their night. And if he born in a day, a minute before sunset, a minute bore Tzet HaKochavim, it can change completely.
Exactly.
So you are 100% right. It all depends on us. We have the freedom of choice, the potential, what we want to be. It's all up to us. Exactly. I would like to take the opportunity, Mark, I hope that this show answer all your question, my friend, that you have.
Rov, I must admit, I cannot embrace this concept. I don't, to me, it's bordering on Avodah Zorah. I don't know why the Gedolim spend so much time on it, because at the end of the day, as you said, Hakol is in the hands of Shemaim, except the fear of Shemaim. And I believe there's only one power in the world, that's Hashem, and the stars have got nothing to do with it, as far as I understand. I cannot believe. I mean, it even says that we shouldn't worship the sun, moon, and stars. So why bother to say that it affects our luck and our lives? I cannot see that at all.
Okay.
Everything is by Shemaim. And to me, it doesn't make any sense at all. So that's my opinion. Sorry,
Okay.
Jeff.
That's fine. That's fine. Just to answer you quickly, but I hope that that's cover all your idea, because if you look what the Rambam say, the Rambam agree with you.
Yeah, I think it's totally a goy concept.
So the Rambam say
And we picked
that
it up.
agree with you. But astrology, to learn astrology, you have to understand that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created all of it not for
Yes,
that
I do.
person has to understand that there is different universe, there is different star in the heaven. And if Shmuel said, "Nir'im shvile de nehar de'ah, shvile de rki'ah, shvile de nehar de'ah," that I know that what's happening in the heaven, the same like I know the street in my road, must be a reason. Maybe in our level, it doesn't affect us today. It doesn't affect us.
I just think that
there is a bit of a noise.
It's just beyond us.
Mute.
I mean, the
a lot of
Rabbonim
noise over
are very smart people. We're very smart people, but I still can't understand the concept of believing that the position of the stars can affect our luck as such. Everything's Bashamayim.
Not a luck.
If you have good things, it's Bashamayim. If you have bad things, it's Bashamayim. If you have medium things, it's Bashamayim. I don't think it's got anything to do with the stars and the positions. Yes, it's a fascinating subject. The sky is a beautiful thing. The stars are beautiful, but I can't see how it works. That's my opinion.
Okay. Jeff, you want to say something?
Yes, it's got nothing to. It's nothing. Yeah, the actual stars have got nothing to do with luck whatsoever. There are certain. If you notice, there's certain trends and traits of people's personalities. You've got that, and they're born at a certain time, and you'll see a lot of people born in that period of time. They have a similar personality. Some are outward, some are inward, some are deep thinkers, some are chancers. They're all different personalities, and you'll find there's a thread that runs through these celestial energies. It's an energy. And in fact, Abraham recognized Hashem. Why? Because of the stars, because of the celestial bodies. That's how Abraham reckoned. If it was good enough for Abraham, it's good enough for all of us.
Absolutely, I hear you. But the fact of the matter is that I don't think it has anything to do with it.
No, it's up to you.
If I'm born on a Tuesday and I've got a personality, it doesn't mean everybody who's born on Tuesday is going to have the same personality as me.
No, it doesn't. It means there's a potential to have that personality. It's a lot of things in your peer group. Yes, it's a potential on that particular time. That's what it is. It's no more than a potential. There's nothing you read into the stars that does anything for you. That you've got to do it yourself. You're the man. You're the person that makes the decision. You're the person to trust in Hashem that you're doing the right thing. But it does give people an idea what their aptitude is, what they are good at, what their energies are good for. There is some for science, some for some people for the arts and theater and what have you, some for business. It does give you an idea, but it's for you to work on it. It doesn't tell you anything what you can do. There's nothing of luck towards that. That's up to you, and you can change your luck. We can change it by the mitzvahs as we just done. We can change our whole personality. It's up to us to do that. But it's good to know what your potential is and work towards it and work within it. Thank you.
Sorry, Jeff, don't go along with that.
Okay. Anyone else? That's beautiful. That is beautiful.
I'm glad
That's how it must be.
I'm sorry, that doesn't make any sense at all. There's only HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Zehu, nothing else. That's my opinion.
Eitan, I see that you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I think just to clarify, it's in the words. It says Kol b'dei Shemaim, Kos M'yirei Shemaim. Basically, what Hashem is trying to say that there's bechira, there's free choice, because if we didn't have free choice, we'll be like the malachim, we'll be angels. So it's very important to understand that, there is a destination for us, but we can change that, because the whole idea is that we can basically, Hashem gives us a certain choice to do something, and He says, "Choose me." Everything is the hand of Hashem except Yiras Shamayim. So the thing is that the stars, all that kind of stuff, it's almost like it's a backbone. It's basically when you're building a foundation. But how you choose to do your actual fittings inside and all that kind of stuff, that's your choice, and how you want to beautify your mitzvahs and everything. But the main thing is here, not to focus really on the stars. It's almost that's your backbone, that's your personality. It doesn't mean that's what's going to happen to you. It just means that you're introvert, extrovert, like Mr. Allen was saying. But I think the main focus here is that, maybe to answer Mark, is that we have to understand that everything is a choice. If we didn't have that choice, then we wouldn't be alive. The only reason why we're alive is because we have a choice. So that's really what the idea is, that there is the stars and there is an alignment and there is a certain personality, but yes, we can go to Avodah Zorah. Today there's a lot of Avodah Zorah in our ways, cell phones, money, all sorts of things, drugs. So we have to choose the right thing. I think that's what we have to focus on. So I think that's what the idea for me is Kol Midei Shemayim Chutz Yiras Shamayim. That's the idea.
Sorry, Rob, I know we're taking up your time, but I have to disagree with that, because it's Eitan, I think. What he's saying is that you're stuck with the day you're born on.
No.
So if I'm born on a Monday, that's me.
No, Mark, Mark, I need to cut you here and I'll explain. Not at all. I say that those people that born on a Monday, they have the potential. Those people that born on a Wednesday, they have the potential. They have to decide which character trait they want to have. Do they, for example, the person born in a celestial of Ma'adim, that he loved blood, not necessary that he will be a murderer. He can change his character trait. And that's what the prophet Yirmiyahu said. Me'otot hashamayim al tehatu. That means from the starlight in heaven, you mustn't be. You as a Jew, you must never worry about it. Why? Because you're above it. It's your job. It's your job to take that character trait that you got and to turn it to good. For example, a person that loves to talk. Certain people that talk will talk a lot of Lashon Hara. But take that energy that HaKadosh Baruch Hu given you to talk and talk Divrei Kodesh. You change it. A person that have a lot of energy, okay, instead of doing wrong thing, he can do good deeds. Will do gmah, will go and help people. That's a thing what Jeff and Eitan trying to explain, that they understand from the show, because that's what was the main aiming. That Hazal tell us, yes, there is astrology, but it's all limited. Why? Because we Jew, and I say explain. Hakol bidei shemayim. Everything is in the hand of heaven. That's that there is certain people that love to talk. Not necessary that they will talk Lashon Hara. There is big Rabbonim, okay, that they have the energy to talk. They took that energy and they talked Divrei Kodesh. So instead of talking Lashon Hara, they turn the energy to a good energy instead of a bad energy. You follow, Mark?
No, absolutely. I hear what you're saying, but I don't necessarily agree with it.
You don't? No one can force you to agree.
Because I still say that everything comes from a Kodesh Baruch Hu, and we don't need to worry about any stars. That's my opinion.
You don't worry about it.
It's not that we're worrying about the star. Not at all. You're missing the point. The star is like to teach us that you as an individual can change your character trait completely.
You're
Why?
special.
Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu created you with the freedom of choice. And you as individual, you're the entire world. Because by your action, you can change the decree of the world. If you do mitzvot, you can change that world. If you're a good human being, you can change the world. But lehavdil, take, for example, the person that's born on a Sunday that we say is a leader. So there's many people as a leader in a previous time, or that there was not necessarily leader, that there was become a leader as a gangster. He didn't done any good things for the world. A matter of fact, he destroyed the world. But if it was a good leader like Moshe Rabbeinu, like Yoshua Binu, like Avraham Avinu, those leaders, that the character trait that they receive, they work on themselves and they change. Avraham Avinu, we explained, that born in a house of idol worshippers. And we say it in Agada, Mithila of de Avodah Zarah Hayu Avutenu. Right at the beginning in the ancient days, our fathers was idol worshippers. Avraham Avinu from that depths, right down, managed to rise up against all the world. And that's what it's come to tell you, that the star luck come to tell you that maybe you're born to that certain energy, but it doesn't mean that that's what's going to be. You can change it. That's all what the shiur was, that we can change everything.
Okay, I hear your point of view and everybody else's point of view. And it was a good share. Thank you very much, Rob.
We have a one-on-one.
Thank
Anyway,
you. Good night, everybody.
I hope that I answer all your question regarding Avodah Zarah. Should you listen to horoscope? Should you read all of these Bubermeisters?
No,
It is Bubermeisters.
No, they are Bubermeisters.
You understand? Because that's all what is it. Rabotai, the shiur took a bit long. It was
very, very interesting.
23 minutes. I would like to thank all of you. And it was very nice to see you all again. I hope to see you again on Thursday on Parashat HaShavua. And I would like to take the opportunity to thank all of you. And please, God, keep safe, keep well. We'll see you on Thursday night for the show on Parashat HaShavua. All the best.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you. Nice.
And Mark,
Thanks to
stop
everybody.
arguing now. It's enough.
No, let him argue. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful thing to have that trait.
Thank you.
I will try to argumentation.
It's clear.
Thank you.